Welcome, everybody, to this edition of the OIC podcast in a new way. On this edition, we are going to be talking about who we are and how we became who we became, how we became the men who we are today. We're also going to be telling you, after both of us tell our life stories individually, we're going to be talking about how the OIC podcast came to be in our lives and in your life. And so, without further ado, Kevin, if you have anything to start this video out with before we tell our stories.
Yes, if this information resonates with you, please like it and share it. We have content on a weekly basis that is life-enhancing, life-fulfilling, and it gives you the opportunity and chance to be able to explore new information in a new way starting today. If you like to, you can go to inanewway.com and explore the multiple opportunities that the website provides for you, to where it gives you all the insights that you need and more to the information that matters most to you today. And so with that said, Noah's going to tell his story about how he got started, and then I'll be able to tell you about mine.
All right, so my story starts out in Wisconsin. I was born and raised in Wisconsin. I had one older brother, one younger sister, and two wonderful parents. Both of my parents were teachers, so I grew up going to school in Montello. I didn't go to any other school. I wasn't moving around at all. And Kevin will tell you about how much he was moving around when he was a kid, but I had none of that. I was here based in Wisconsin, born and raised. And from there, I went to high school in Montello. It was a very small high school, about 200 people in the whole high school, and my class personally was only 59 people. So shout out to class of 2015 in Montello. And during my last year of high school, my senior year, I was getting into a little bit of personal individual research. And so I was doing research outside of school when I had a break time in the IMC, or the library room in that school, to research budget travel. And I was very interested in budget travel because I discovered that there are people who are traveling around the world pretty much for free and getting paid to do it because they make blogs or they make a YouTube channel or something where they can start to get the monetization to be able to pay for their travels that way. So this is what I wanted to do. This is what I wanted to go to college to find out how to do it. And so I decided to take the route to Eau Claire, UW Eau Claire in Wisconsin, still sticking around, in Wisconsin. So I wasn't branching out too far, but I did take one solo journey to Colorado the summer following my senior year of high school, introducing myself into the world of budget travel, right? So I took a solo journey to Colorado, and if you want to find out more about what happened on that solo Colorado trip of 2015, you can visit the YouTube channel, and that's part of the Journey to a New Way series. Moving on, I went to Eau Claire, and I was thinking about getting into politics because I really enjoyed my politics course. I was learning a lot about what the political world was like. I was also getting into anthropology, which is the study of human civilizations, ancient civilizations. And I thought that was very interesting, and I still do to this day, because there's a lot of discoveries being made, and we even present some of those on our podcast in some of the beginning episodes. We've got one on ancient civilizations if you wanted to check that out on the OIC podcast. But anyways, I was thinking about doing anthropology. I was thinking about doing journalism as well. I was thinking about getting into politics possibly and making some change happen in the world, because I was starting to be more of an activist, I guess. And so with all these new interests that I was being introduced to in college, but I didn't necessarily know about in high school, I was really starting to branch out in my own personal research. I was branching out in my own personal study. And from there, I really took my life into a direction that was political. And on top of that, I was also getting into different different habits and different hobbies that were not exactly good for me. And some of these involve, the regular habits that people get into when they're in college, which is obviously alcohol. I was partying a lot in college, and that wasn't helping my grades. That wasn't helping my education in any way, shape, or form. I was also getting into just, mild types of drugs. I wasn't doing any of the hard stuff, but I was dabbling, you could say. And that wasn't healthy for my soul, my body, or my spirit. So moving on from there, I was getting introduced to things that weren't necessarily good for me, but I was also getting introduced to further truths in the world. I was getting introduced to a wider perspective. And from this wider perspective, I was very I was very upset about the state of the world, of what I discovered about the world. I didn't know that there was a bunch of corruption going on in our government. I didn't know that there was corruption in the pharmaceutical industries and all these different corporations that we don't need to name right now. But I was upset. I was upset at the education that I'd gotten, and I was upset that I needed to find out all these things for myself. So my way of coping with that was I was going to be a sort of warrior and teach other people about these truths that I was finding out about. And now some of these were necessary for me to focus on. Some of these led to some productive and some fruitful things in my life. Others were just information that, it's good to know, but you don't really need to scare people by telling them about it and shouting about it, because I was very upset. Like I said, I was very upset that my parents didn't know some of the things I was discovering. I was very upset that my family and my friends didn't know some of the things I was discovering, and I wanted to wake people up, basically. And although I was introduced to a wider truth in the world, I still had a lot to learn at this point. So from there, I decided to take a sort of solo venture to sort myself out. I wanted to grasp and hold on to what I was discovering in the world and be able to know how to apply it in my life in a way that was effective, in a way that worked. And so this is all leading up to the OIC podcast and A New Way, but at this point I was still taking my life in a direction that wasn't very good, I guess. It wasn't leading to the right outcome. It was intended to do what I'm doing now, but it wasn't. If I had gone on that track and continued and not been held up in the way that I'm going to tell you how I was held up in a second here, then I would have taken this whole company, this whole platform in a completely different direction. I might not even know Kevin at this point. So either way, though, we can move on from me getting all out of whack, right, with all this information from all these different areas. A lot of this was spiritual, by the way. A lot of this was very spiritual information, very ancient teachings, as well as new ideas in spiritualism, some of them good and some of them really not so good. And so we don't need to deep dive into those in this episode. We can get into that in later episodes, what exactly I mean by that. But basically, I decided that I was going to take a journey to discover what was true, to discover my own truth, to discover who I was, what my mission was, what my purpose was, and to meet people and meet like minds along the way. So one of the ways I wanted to do this was I didn't want to have to rely on myself. I wanted to put my life into other people's hands, put my life into a sort of vulnerable position. I wanted to put my life into a position where I was relying on the kindness and the goodness of other people to get me from point A to point B. So from this journey, I did meet like minds. I met a lot of older and wiser people that really humbled me on this journey and really brought me new ideas that even I wasn't aware of yet. I thought I knew it all at this point. I thought I was awakening people up. I was already awakened, and I was now trying to bring other people up with me. That was not the case. And so I found a lot of older and wiser people on this journey that told me all these wonderful insights that still haven't left me to this day. And if you'd like to know more about this journey that I took, then you can see that also on the YouTube channel for A New Way too. That's Journey to a New Way as well. And so at the end of this journey that I took in LA, California, I suffered a serious injury, a serious setback. And I don't know exactly what happened to me. It's actually been swiped from my memory, which happens in traumatic experiences, but I had multiple fractures all around my body, and my wrist here is still scarred up. I've got scars everywhere, but my wrist here is still not extending as much as it did previous. So I do have some minor setbacks from that to this day. But the whole point of me having this setback was so that I would get more well acquainted with my purpose, so that I would not keep going on this track that I was going on that wasn't good for me, that I had mentioned earlier, so that I would be able to have a reset period, a recovery period, and a reawakening period that would manifest ultimately the OIC podcast, that would manifest A New Way, in which we are now doing our life purpose. We're sharing with you the information that has helped us out so much, and a lot of this information that we share was discovered by me personally during that recovery period. This is stuff that I wasn't, when I thought I was awakened, right? I didn't know this stuff yet, but after I was injured, after my life sort of was taken back and reset, refocused, I was able to come across this information that really is 10 times more powerful than anything that I knew prior. And so I met Kevin during that recovery period, and we can talk more about that because that's when the OIC podcast and A New Way was created. We can talk more about that after Kevin tells his story. So I'm going to hand it off to you, Kevin, and go ahead with your story.
Excellent story, by the way.
Thank you.
And for you listeners, if you're wanting to be able to get a more in-depth walk with Noah and to be able to get to know who he is as a person, feel free to be able to reach out to us. We've got our emails, and so we look forward to being able to spend one-on-one time with you to be able to have you learn more about us.
That's right. And by the way, on our website, we have a sign up where you can sign up for free, and that will automatically give you access to a messenger that's directly to either one of us, where you can just message us directly on that website.
Absolutely, because we want to be connected with you, because we want to grow with you. And so in able to do that, we have to have those emails, we have to have the contact links so that you can be able to reach out to us. So now, on to my story. I grew up in a small little town in Comanche, Iowa. Very small town, similar to Noah's, and I had a small graduation class as well. But everyone in my class was just really kind of well bonded. We kind of had like-minded ideas and kind of similar situations as far as being able to grow and develop as people. We were all big into sports as well. So that was a big thing in our high school, and we had one of the best speech and drama coaches and directors, and so it was an all amazing, great experience in high school. While growing through high school, I would have to be able to walk my mom's mom home most nights, and when I was doing that, she would say, "Oh, you're so kind and caring. You're so kind and caring," and so. My family kind of have adopted a nickname of Casey for me because being so kind and caring. And so now moving from high school, I really had an idea of what I wanted to do, but I had no financial means to be able to do it. I don't know if anyone else has been in that situation. So my dad then advised me to be able to join the United States Navy because I'd get 3 square meals a day, and I would be able to get the financial funding that I needed to be able to grow my legacy and my businesses. So what had happened is I joined the United States Navy, and I had no real authentic clue as far as what I wanted to do in the military. I chose an MOS that I thought was best suited for me, but then I decided to be able to go to college while I was in the military. And then once I got my business management degree, then I took other steps forward to be able to get into leadership in the military. And then while in the military, I was able to be introduced to people from around the world. I've been to 45 countries around the world, and I've spoken in 45 countries around the world as well. And what it allowed me to do is to be able to get multicultural and awareness to be able to see that I wasn't alone in my situation, and that the situation that were going on in my life, many other people could resonate with, and to be able to see that they were going through the same similar things. And so it gave me a large perspective idea that I needed to be able to create or establish a foundation of authentic trust amongst people. And so I got my life certification as far as a life coach, and my psychology degree. And so I got my business management, my psychology degree, as well as other degrees as well that I'll cover later on. But once I then took advantage of the military and what it could offer me and going to all those different countries, I then got out of the military, and I still wanted to be a business owner. I still wanted to own my own businesses. But here's what I didn't have in completion with all those years being in the military: the knowledge on actually how to be a business owner and how to be able to get started. And so I then went to Tony Robbins Academies. I went to Les Brown and several other of my mentors to be able to learn on how the wealthy become wealthy and how the people start businesses and do business. And so while attending the seminars, rallies, and functions for several years, I learned on how to be able to be the best open-minded kind of a person or a teacher to be able to teach, train, motivate, direct, and guide other people to their lifestyles and to their destinies of who they want to be and who they want to become. And so through those teachings, I was able to then establish my businesses. So I've got the Entrusted Life Coaching Agency, Pathways Prosperity Group, and several more. But what it's allowed me to be able to do is it allowed me to be able to reach out and connect with people from all around the world, from all ages, to be able to teach, train, motivate, direct, and guide them in a new way starting today. And so I have been successful for the last 33 years in being able to do that, as well as being able to teach other people on how to be able to grow and develop as a person and to be able to fulfill their dreams and goals as well. And so now that brings us up to this point to where how I got to be able to meet Noah, to be able to spend time with Noah, and to be able to become best friends with Noah, and then to become business owners together with Noah. And so now this is our time to be able to show you on how we got together. So go ahead, Noah.
That's right. Well, we were reintroduced officially. We stepped up our relationship on Christmas Day in the year that I was recovering, which was 2017. And so we met on Christmas Day at a family function because we are family. He's married to my cousin. And so we got to talking, and he told me some tips in my life that I desperately needed in order to get rid of some old habits and take up some new habits. And basically, we started a life coaching type of operation, type of call experience and opportunity to where anytime that I needed Kevin, anytime that I needed a piece of advice, anytime that I was struggling with something, I could just call Kevin at any time of the day. And you're very, very powerful of a person to have connected to in that aspect, because that helped me take my own life another step up during this recovery period. And so from there, our relationship, we kept on calling each other, we kept on speaking, we laughed together and we cried together and we talked about the deeper things in life. And then we started talking about what we were going to do with this information that we talked about. And so we decided that we wanted to make something that was a free platform for people to get on and get educated and to share their own stuff on our platform as well, to be able to just have one source for truthful information that people desperately need in this day and age. So to add on to that, Kevin?
Yeah, it's all about new awakenings. You have to understand, listeners, is that it's when you get the authentic truth in a bundled package to where you can be able to self-absorb it in little bite-sized pieces, that it really resonates. It really connects. It really allows you to be able to take this information in a new way and apply it to your life today, that really makes you feel comfortable, makes you feel whole as a person, and it makes you feel empowered and inspired. But most importantly, it allows you to be so authentic as far as your character and who you are as a person, that it really just is like a permanent voice of hope in everyone's life. And it allows you to be able to go throughout your day, your week, your month, and your year, being able to be more fulfilled, more whole as a person, and more caring, more loving, more compassionate, more understanding, because of how the information is presented. But other than that, it's really a vehicle for you to be able to be in permanent positive motion with everything that's going on in life, and to be able to keep you focused and guided and directed in a way that resonates most with you today. And so whether you're male or female, young or old, we have programs that are completely designed to be able to enhance your life in every way. And so with our combination of the OIC and the inanewway.com, we've been able to provide that platform. And all we're asking you is for you to come take a journey with us. Come explore this information. Come share the information with those that you like and value and appreciate today. And then last is that if you like it enough, share it. That's all that we ask.
Yep.
And we have, of course, contributing pages like Patreon and other places to where you can be able to donate to our channel. But getting that like button and being able to heart it is really important because that's what helps us to be able to get the messages out. And so, like it and share it. Other than that, I want to welcome you to a new way of living, a new way of growing, a new way of experiencing information in life in a new way starting today. And I'm thankful that you were able to watch this video and to find some value in it.
Thank you for watching.